This is my Polar Lights 1/350th scale USS Enterprise model from Star Trek, the original series. And before I do any more assembly work on this, I want to do a burn-in test on the different animated lighting effects to make sure that everything's working properly. So I've got everything hooked up here temporarily via a rat's nest of wiring laid out on the floor. And I'll give you a quick demo of how this is going to work and what it looks like. First of all, I want to give credit to Ross Waddell, who designed the core of the lighting solution. Very nice system he's put together. He shared this. The plans are available online. He's provided parts lists. And so I took those and I had these 5 different circuit boards fabricated for me by an online company. And I went out and found the parts using his parts list, got this stuff all soldered together. And it makes for a really first-rate lighting solution for this kit. This is the main board. It has an Arduino on it controlling these 2 motors, port and starboard. These drive the spinning fans inside the Bussard collectors on the front of the warp engines. This also drives the blinking ion pod at the rear of the secondary hull and the port and starboard running lights on the saucer. It has these 2 companion boards. Each of these has an Arduino, and each of these is responsible for driving this disc loaded with LEDs. This provides the lighting effects for the Bussard collector. And he's got a very nice assortment of LEDs here, different shapes and sizes and colors. Very good density of LEDs too. It's not sparse looking. It looks nice. And once you see it lit up, I think you'll agree. That's the core that he provided. Now I went a little bit above and beyond and I created a 4th board here with an Arduino on it, and the purpose of this is to control the lighting effects for the impulse engines and the flux chillers inside the warp nacelles. I know that neither of those effects were illuminated on the original 11-foot filming miniature, but I think they look really nice when they're lit up. It gives more character to the model, and it provides a little bit of continuity with the refit by having those things light up. I can control them with the switch button here, so I can turn them off, and it looks like the original model that we all saw on the 60s TV show, but then with a few button presses you can light these up, make it look better. So let me demonstrate first. I'll hit the power switch here, and you're going to notice the motors start to spin. They rotate in counter-rotating directions. I've just got little bits of tape on there now to indicate the direction of rotation. The speed of the motors is adjustable via a potentiometer mounted on the circuit board here. But it also has a provision for an external potentiometer that you can mount remotely. And that's what I'm going to do. I don't have it hooked up now, but I'm going to put a remote potentiometer on the base so that the speed of the motors can be controlled. There's the blinking ion pod there. There's one on the port side as well. Here's your port and starboard running lights on the saucer. And these lights look a little bit more intense on this video than they do in person. I think this camera has a tendency to overexpose a bit. But here's the real money shot. These nacelle discs. I think once we get a frosted dome in front of that with the spinning fan behind it, this is going to look spot on. Very nice. I like that. So that's the main part of it. That's the part that Ross provided. Now the effects that I provided, controlled via this button here. First press will fade in the impulse engines, like so. Second press will fade in the flux chillers while simultaneously fading out the impulse engines. And those chillers look very intense, but again, it's this camera overexposing a bit. I'm going to, in the finished model, I'm going to have blue filters inside here to provide some coloration. This is just cool white LED tape strips in there. I'm also going to have Paragraphics photo etch running along these trenches So the combined effect of the filters and the photo etch is going to subdue the lighting intensity somewhat, so it'll look a little more realistic. Let's see, that was 2 button presses. The 3rd button press will fade out the chillers and bring the impulse engines back online. And the 4th button press will fade them out. So that's how that works. So I'm going to let this run a while, make sure everything's working properly, make sure nothing's getting excessively hot. And I'm not testing the window lighting right now. That's just ordinary double density warm white LED tape strips, and there's nothing especially exciting about that. But I do have the tape strips mounted inside the hulls. Just don't have those wired up right now. So that's it for now. Hopefully the next time you see any of these in operation, it'll be on the fully assembled model. And I don't know when that'll be, but I'll definitely post a video when that's ready.